All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. delivering a message in the usual cryptic boxing fashion that is popular today about no tune-up fights, and that has to mean even if he doesn't fight Terence Crawford, which could be good news for boxing fans. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Errol Spence Jr. in the 147-pound division. Do not get it twisted. For the very few people out there that don't like talking about the welterweight division and the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight, please do not assume that this is a Terence Crawford a conversation about Terence Crawford, because it's really not. I have kind of got into my head in preparing for this fight between the two of them not to happen. I want it to happen, but trying to get my head around it not happening. But then having been a boxing fan for a very, very long time, I know that something else is going to come. And what is it going to be? Errol Spence Jr. delivers a message on his Twitter feed today that lets you know what it will not be, though. Now, before I get into that conversation, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter to the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. If you are not subscribed to the channel, either because you just saw the video, just caught it now, or you've just watched it and you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. We really do have very, very good conversations going on. And also, man, y'all, please hit that like button, tweak that algorithm for your boy. It would be greatly appreciated. Or the dislike button if that's what you feel, but pick one and press it. Now, let's get into this. Errol Spence Jr. is the 147-pound champion for the IBF, the WBA, and the WBC. The young man, in my opinion, I'm not going to call him a kid. I'm sorry. He's 32 years old. Do not mean to be respectful. But, to me, who's a little bit older, still kind of think of him as a young man. But the young man, in my opinion, is pretty much what's right in boxing. In my opinion. Other people can have their opinions, but for me, even if I do not agree with every decision that Errol Spence Jr. makes, right? Errol Spence Jr. is a hardcore boxer. He is a straightforward guy. He sets his mind on what he wants to do, and he goes about trying to achieve it. And I have got to respect that in him. So one of the things that he said specifically related to this tweet that was put out about him, and the tweet read that, look, shout out to Errol Spence Jr. for being the only fighter that actually will trust his skills and doesn't take no punk ASS tune-up fights, real big dog. Now, and so Errol Spence Jr. retweets that, right? Like saying that, agreeing with that. I am not taking any tune-up fights. I trust my skill. I'm ready to go with the best fighters, not looking for anything else, right? So clearly he is still looking for the Terence Crawford fight and trying to make that, despite my pleas that he may have heard or not heard, to just say, look, man, set a deadline for Terence. And if you don't, just take a stay busy fight for the year to make sure that you are just on and staying sharp and all of that, right? Which I think is a good thing. Now, he isn't interested in that because he's like, I don't need any sharpening of my skill. I want to fight the best guy next. I am here for a good time, not a long time, right? Have to respect that. Now, what does that mean though? Right? Because the world, Errol Spence Jr. cannot control Terence Crawford, and he can't control the PBC or Showtime or what those guys want. He could very much be dying for that fight, and I do believe he really, really wants that fight. Really, really wants that fight. Is doing everything he can do to get that fight. I trust and believe that. However, he cannot control Terence Crawford. He cannot control the PBC. He cannot control Showtime. All of those entities have to come together in order for that fight to be made and for Errol to get his wish. So what happens if it doesn't take place? And we're now at August 18th, right? And so that is what, August, September, October, November. That's 12 weeks, right? And you have 12 weeks training camps. And so for a fight to take place on the 9th to 12th Shoot, either the 12th or the 19th, the 2 November dates that they give. You're now at 12 weeks. So that training camp, if you're going to have an official, promotion for the fight and then a 12-week training camp for a fight that big, the time is pressing up. So the question is, well, if that fight doesn't happen, what is he going to do? Right now, if you're saying, well, he's going to fight the best fights, then you know who that is. Right? The best fight is either he's going to be able to go up there to 154 pounds and fight Jermell Charlo, right? And that is probably not going to happen for a whole lot of reasons. Or he'll fight, stay at 147. And the guys to fight there is going to either be Stanionis, who's his man, who I do believe is mandated to fight him by the WBA, or Jaron Ennis, who is with the IBF. So would you consider those two fights tune-ups? As far as Stanionis goes, I would say, yeah, that looks to me a little bit like a tune-up fight for him. Somebody that he's going to run through. Jaron Ennis is anything but a tune-up fight, right? So a lot of people are saying, Errol's going to move up to 154. If he doesn't, and I know Errol has said that himself, but it just makes me curious, like, what is going to be the good fight? He's probably going to do what he did with Lamont Peterson, right? He wanted to fight. He was the IBF champion. He was definitely in the middle of strap season, though. Respect to Gervonta Davis for being the original strap season guy. He wanted to get that fight, but he wound up taking the best available fight for him and the best guy that would actually fight him. So, at 147, that is going to either be Stanionis or that is going to be Jaron Ennis. I would suspect that Showtime and those guys would probably not want Jaron Ennis in that fight that quickly, or maybe not even. Well, Jaron is not the PBC though. Jaron Ennis is managed by is promoted by Cameron Duncan. So I don't know if Cameron Duncan would be willing to put him in that quickly with Errol Spence. I know Bozy Ennis and those guys talk about being ready for it. And I'm at 28 fights. I don't need any more time. I'm ready to go. So that could be a fight. But for me, what I wish would happen is I wish he fights Stanionis. And number one, I want him to fight Terence Crawford and get that done. Make that fight happen if it can happen this year. If it gets pushed to next year, if you're talking about, it's not going to happen this year. It may happen in April of next year or May of next year, I say just fight somebody. I would just say fight somebody else, man. Errol's already proven that he trusts his skills enough to just jump in there with guys because he's done that, off of injuries or off of long layoffs. He's been doing that for a long time. I do believe he fought Sean Porter off of a nice layoff. He fought Danny Garcia off of a very long layoff, and he fought Yordanis Ugas off of a very long layoff. So him being willing to do it has been a really good thing to this point, and I commend him for it. I just would say, man, come on, man. I want to see you fight, dog. As a selfish boxing fan, man, I don't mind seeing you whoop up on some easy fighter. I love those fights, man. I don't blame people for fighting if they don't have the best fight available to them to fighting the best available guy and giving me a show. I'm just getting tired of these very, very long layoffs, and I don't want a long layoff to occur with either Terence Crawford or Errol Spence, because Terence Crawford's been taking a year between fights, been taking a full year between fights over the last 3 fights as well. And if this fight doesn't happen until December, which I'm telling you, if they don't announce this fight in the next 2 weeks, the very earliest the fight would be is in December. Then you're pushing it into next year and over a year for Terence Crawford. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace. Hit that like button, though, and I'm out. Holler.